What's good, people? This is about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, hate. So, something I was just thinking about. Feel like I just wanted to share this with y'all, and then what y'all think. Find out what y'all think about this as well. So, Chris Eubanks Jr., as we know, this is a guy that fought at 168 pounds at one point. He's come down to 160, fought Liam Smith, and he got stopped. Now, not saying a guy can't be hurt by someone that's by a guy that's naturally smaller, but we know that the rematch was, canceled or postponed, how you want to say it. So now, Chris Eubanks Jr., who his dad said that, he didn't listen to him. We basically heard Chris Eubanks Jr. pretty much does his thing his way. And he ended up going to Roy Jones Jr. Now, you saw Roy Jones Jr. rub off on him little like past two fights, let's say. You saw him trying to imitate Roy Jones, which is where he went wrong, is trying to imitate Roy Jones. He doesn't have Roy Jones' natural physical gifts. He doesn't have Roy Jones' IQ. He's not Roy Jones. Okay. So now, I don't know what happened. I haven't heard anything. It doesn't really matter anyway. But he's now reaching out to David Haye as his trainer. I personally don't see anything that David Haye is going to be able to do that's going to help Chris Eubanks Jr. I mean, I'd have to see it to actually, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's impossible. No, I mean, I really just don't see like what is David Haye going to actually do? Like realistically, what is David Haye going to do? What is he going to show him? If his own father couldn't get his point across to him and train him and have him fight where he'd be a better fighter than what he is, if Roy Jones couldn't, I'm not even going to say if Roy Jones couldn't help him become a better fighter, because I mean we did see some certain things, put it like that. But I was thinking maybe Roy Jones Jr. can see deep down inside that he's trying everything he could with Chris, and it's just not working the way that it should. Chris is 33 years old now. It's not like he's some young buck that just came up new to the game. Like this guy's 33 years old. And for him to still be in a position now that he's in, never been a world champion. I personally don't think he ever will be a world champion, honestly. And for him to now all of a sudden, David Haye was a solid fighter, yeah, but I mean, just saying now he reaches out to David Haye. So I don't know. Maybe, it didn't have to be a falling out. Maybe it was Chris's idea to separate from Roy. Maybe it was Roy's idea. I don't know. And I don't now, look forward to like trying to hear him talk bad about Roy or Roy talking bad about him. I'm just saying, in terms of like why the split happened, I don't see how David Haye would be a better fit. I mean, how many? I just don't see it. I don't see it. And I not and not to be funny, but David Haye is like bad luck, man. This dude can't predict the winner for nothing. And just think about how many times David Haye probably bet against, Chris Eubanks Jr. to lose a fight. And then all of a sudden now you become the trainer. We heard Robert Garcia say that Anthony Joshua can't be fixed. No, he can't be fixed. He can't. No. And he ended up training Anthony Joshua, you know. And as a trainer, you're not going to sit there and shoot down the fighter that you're training. But I got the sense of the feeling that he never actually really believed in Anthony Joshua, even when he was training him. I don't think even things like he was saying when he was saying like Anthony Joshua has to believe in himself is I agree with him. So even me saying I don't think he really believed in AJ, I'm not saying it like he was being deceiving. I just feel like he took the task, and then as he's training Anthony Joshua, he's seeing like AJ just don't get it in here, man. And he's saying he has crazy power, and yeah. But in the ring, it's like AJ's holding back because he's not confident that he's gonna get the shot there. He's trying to not get counted, all that type of shit. And just he just never looked comfortable. So just saying, Roy Jones probably saw the same things, and Chris Eubanks Jr. But I don't know whose idea it was to split. Now that's less important, but the significance of that would be if Roy Jones does feel like, hey, look, Chris, you're just not getting it. But I don't think that I don't. Who knows? I don't know what it is, and I don't want to assume. I do remember when Chris Eubanks Jr. was being interviewed, and they was talking about, Roy throwing the towel in the rematch, and he was saying, "I'm going to tell Roy, don't even bring a towel to the ring. Don't even think about throwing in the towel or whatever." Because the ref stopped the fight, but he was saying, like, how does he feel about? He was talking about going out on his shield and all of that, and just saying, who knows? But Chris Eubanks Jr. honestly just seems like a very arrogant guy that once he learns something, he probably feels like, okay, I'm better than you at this now. Okay, next. Meaning, like, when you watch him fight, because he was trying to fight like Roy Jones, it's like, you don't have Roy's footwork. You don't, like I said, he's not Roy Jones. But I just fail to see what David Haye is going to do that's going to make Chris Eubanks a better fighter. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. And honestly, I don't even get that feeling like David Haye would be a good trainer. He was a good fighter, but I just don't see it. And his style of fighting, the way he fights, and how he would train Chris Eubanks Jr. Chris Eubanks Jr. definitely needs to be defensive. He definitely needs to, know how to not waste punches, put his shots together, and he could use better footwork. I don't see David Haye being able to supply that for him. That things that he actually, like, he could use better footwork. He needs to understand, in the pocket, if you watch him, he just keeps his hands up and he leans. He literally turns. He doesn't know how to slip shots. He's not a good inside fighter. He doesn't know how to slip shots, parry shots, make you miss. He doesn't do pull counters. He doesn't, parry shots and, like, catch and shoot. He doesn't do any of that shit. He just jabs, move around a little bit, throw an uppercut, jab. He tries to find openings. He doesn't know how to create them. There's a lot of shit he needs to work on. And I just don't see David Haye being that guy. I just don't. And even if for Roy Jones to train him, Roy Jones had to see these weaknesses as well. So it's like, okay, let's take your weaknesses and try to make them strengths. Let's try to hide your weaknesses by giving you other things to do other than what you're doing now. Like, in other words, when you throw a shot at a guy, you understand what I mean? He can catch your shit versus doing this shit. You know what I mean? Little shit like that. Because if you throw a shot and you don't have the foot speed to get away, and your only way of trying to get away is trying to hold your arms up and then turning your head away from shots, eventually you're going to get caught. And what did we see happen to him? Backing into that corner, he got caught. Even when he was throwing his uppercuts, he throwing with his hands down, just pulling them up and then turning his shoulder. And, he has no footwork. And he doesn't even have fast feet. So, I think in a rematch, Liam Smith knocks him out again. That's what I personally think. Yet to be seen, but I think Liam knocks him out again. And you already know if David Haye bets on a fighter, what usually happens, right? So what actually happens when David Haye says, I guarantee you, my guy's going to win. Chris Eubanks Jr. is going to win this fight. Like, damn, Chris, you fucked up. You fucked up. David Haye shouldn't have said nothing. He just jinxed you. So I just don't see it. But anyway, I wish nothing but the best for Chris. And we'll see what happens. But personally, I just don't see it. I'd have to see it happen, and then, okay, I got you. I see what he did. I see how he helped him and what he worked on. And pretty much, it's now or never for Chris Eubanks Jr. And he even said himself, like, if he would have lost to Conor Ben, that it's like he was going to retire. Whether he was going to actually do it or not, we don't know. But like he said, he wants to fight for world titles, and his clock is ticking right now. So I don't see. Honestly, I don't like to say that a person can't do something. To be honest with you, but just based on what I'm seeing with him, do you see Chris Eubanks Jr. ever being a world champion? I don't, and I really just don't see anything changing with him for the better. I just think Chris Eubanks Jr. just is who he is at this age. He resorts to just what comes natural to him. And David Haye just isn't that guy to me. Talk to me in the comment section. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all in the next video.